Hello. Hi, Sheila. I know you've been patiently waiting. Thank you. I will wait just a second for some other people to get on. I don't know, maybe I can actually seem to find it on my... No, I guess I can. I'm going to go blind tonight, not with the second device. We just got home from eating, so I scrambled to kind of like do this to my desk because I'm preparing for some other projects, and I grabbed a drink of water because I was having a coughing fit, and I think we're ready to go. Except for I don't have a second monitor, so you know we'll have to just see. I don't actually see anybody. Like if I swipe, I just see Sheila's little chat. So as you pop on, I forgot to post a reminder, but hopefully people have subscribed and they're expecting me. But as you pop on, please say hello and let everybody know where you're from. Sheila is from Sanford. Sharon, that's me, is from Wells. And it's a beautiful snowy night here. And when I was driving out to dinner with my husband, it's just the word that comes to mind is wow. Like, it's so beautiful. It's beautiful where we live. The snow is sticking to all the trees and it is just really pretty. But coincidentally, not so coincidentally, but we were going to do a variation of this card tonight, this wow card that is in the brand new mini catalog that goes from January to April. And so I have an event tomorrow that I'm going to be getting lots of samples ready for, but I thought I'd make this card, and I actually have not even made it yet. I did one part of it, but I'm changing it. So we'll see how this goes. But this is what we're going to be basing it off from. And the catalog, when you first get a new catalog, and even the supplies from the catalog, you can get very overwhelmed. So a great place to start is right here. The artists get paid money to make great, beautiful samples. We might as well try to work off them. So I'm going to use this, and a couple of reasons why. One is I like it. It caught my eye immediately when I saw this. I love the wow. I thought the conversation bubble set in general was pretty fun. But another reason why is I wanted to show a use of the Stamparatus. So for those of you, some of you will probably be catching this on the replay because I didn't set this up in time. Sorry about that. But for those of you catching it either live or on the replay, I have no idea what I was about to say. It's one of those days. So we're going to get started. I know, the Stamparatus. So the Stamparatus is a cool tool that will allow you to stamp over and over and over again. So let me get my Stamparatus out. We'll be using the Rays of Light stamp set, which I've already got mounted in my Stamparatus, and the conversation bubbles. So you can see I've been playing with it already. Now, it's a little bit different because I have a different size card here that I'm going to be using. And I haven't cleaned my stamp yet, so I'm going to clean this with a chamois. Cleans up very nicely. It's when I'm using the Stamparatus that I love my chamois the most. All right, so it is clean now, and I can see, well, if I do flip this back over, I can see that where this is going to get stamped. So if I put this card here, now I'm covering the whole layer, so I can't use my magnets. The only way I could use my magnets is if I had a piece of paper that was bigger than this stamp, and that's just not going to happen. So what I could do is I could tack it down a little bit with some tape or some glue dots on the back here. You know what? Let's go ahead. I can do that. But let me show you another trick. So another thing that you can do when you think you've got it positioned about where you want it. So like I want this little sunny piece here to be right about there. So I'm just really eyeballing it. So let's go ahead. Oh, I don't know. I got a ding on my computer. I'm not exactly sure what that was for. The other way you can do is make these little registration marks. Just kind of go outside your card, put those little registration marks, and then you can, if it moves, you always know where to put it back. So that's one thing that you can do. So now I know it would stamp at the same place. The other thing, as I said, you could put some glue dots. These are leftover paper pumpkin glue dots. You could put those down. Let's show you this method anyway. I'm going to start with Daffodil Delight ink. And when I'm inking up on my Stamparatus, if you put an ink pad or another stamp case underneath this side, it just makes it a little bit more level and easy to operate. Oops, somebody else has joined in. Hey! All right, so I'm just direct to stamp there. That's what that's called, direct to stamp. When you put the ink right to the stamp. And now we're going to fold this over. Now, you can press very evenly here. I have this air hockey paddle that my friend Sheila gave me. Thank you, Sheila. I do use it every time I use my Stamparatus. And if I pick this up, this is what typically happens, especially that first inking. But look at that, isn't that pretty? Now that's pretty just as it is. But if I go ahead and bring in this mini catalog and show you the sample, you can see that the yellow gives way to a darker color. It sort of looks like Cajun Craze to me, but it could have been red mixed with the yellow. I'm not sure what it is. But I'm going to make sure that my paper is back within my registration marks. It is. And I'm going to clean this off just a little bit because I'm going to bring in another color in here. And I'm not going to bring it in over the whole thing. Now I moved this, I know I did, when I was cleaning that. So let me just put this back. I'm going to bring in a blending brush. And this is the regular size one. We now have mini ones. Here's the mini one. You can see the difference in size, but I do want to cover a lot of the stamps, so I want the larger one. And now I need to find my pumpkin pie ink, which I put underneath here. Kind of amazing that I remembered that's where I put it. When I'm flustered, I don't think very well. So this inside here, I want it to stay yellow. But as further out I go, I can bring in some color. And so I can apply this with a brush. And the one thing you would need to remember, you are transferring ink, but it may not be totally even when you transfer it this way. So you just try to have an even hand. You can bring in an ink pad, but your edges will be harder. So I can see, and I'm not sure if you can see, it doesn't look like you can see on camera, but I can see where my color is being applied. Not so sure if that's because of the color I'm using or just because that it's wet. So now I have this, maybe I use the edge to soften up this middle here. Looks like I need a little bit more down here. Okay. That's probably pretty good. And then I'm going to come back in and re-stamp. And that is the magic of the Stamparatus, is that you can stamp over something multiple times. So this will come in handy for maybe the Love Cats set too, in case you don't get a great inking. So you can see in this Love Cats set, they're pretty solid. I mean, they have a couple of hairlines in their backs, but otherwise they're a pretty solid image. So if you miss stamp, and because they are cling, you can't see through them to reposition them exactly again. So the Stamparatus would be great for ensuring coverage. I have a Love Cats class coming up on the 21st, and tomorrow is the last day to register for that. Details are on my Facebook page, Mrs. Rogers Stamperhood. For my email customers, they also got that notice as well. All right, so let me pull this a little bit closer, and you can see, I did shift a little bit, but you can see that I've got some more orange out here. So that's kind of fun. When you are, if you want to make sure that you are stamping exactly in the same place, you want to make sure that your paper is always in the corner and that you haven't moved this at all. And so there are magnets that come with this Stamparatus. They're very strong magnets. Don't get them together. They'll snap together, pinch your fingers, it'll hurt. Sometimes these things break. They haven't broken for me, but they have broken for others. So you just want to keep them apart from each other and onto the paper to hold it. But this was a special case because we had such a big stamp. All right. Stamparatus. The other thing that I wanted to mention about this, for my customers, this is my 22nd anniversary. Well, next Tuesday is my 22nd anniversary with Stampin' Up. And so anyone placing an order of $22 or more this entire month will get entered to win either a Stamparatus, which has a $49.50 value, or a Simply Scored tool, which is what I use to make my boxes. You know, you can, anything with a box, anything that's a box, I use the Simply Scored tool for. And so that has a value of 30. So somebody's going to walk away with one of those. It'll be their pick. All right, so here's the base. And I'm going to bring in a piece of black cardstock, and that will be matted underneath it. It just helps those colors to pop a bit. I'm going to bring in a scrap of basic black, and this is where my Conversation Bubbles stamp set is going to come into play. So let's get that out. And the Conversation Bubbles comes with a lot of little stamps. It also comes with coordinating dies. And with these dies, you have some that cut out two shapes. So for instance, this one right here will cut out this, basically what looks like this silver piece, and it cuts out a shape of whatever color you're cutting from the inside. And same thing for a couple of these that are that way. There are some other dies that aren't, that don't really have a match for this set. And that's these hearts, which is perfect for Valentine's Day. If you just need some extra hearts to embellish, those are a really great size to do that with. All right, so where was I? I was going to not use this one. I want to use the one that goes with the wow, kind of has that wow excitement. It was the wow that they used on the sample. Oh, I wanted to point out this as well. This right here will transform, say, the base of a card to a thought bubble. So it would just cut off a little bit and leave that little ding ding right there. I don't know what you call it, but that's what it would leave. So that's a little edge die. That will be a great asset. All right, so I've got my die. I didn't get my stamp because I was too busy running my mouth. So let's go ahead and get wow back. Those of you who have watched me for a long time know running my mouth is not exactly an oddity. So we've got my wow. Now we're going to be embossing onto the black cardstock with white embossing powder. So I will need my Versamark pad. Let's see, let's find a Versamark pad. It's not the one I had earlier, but this one will work. And I'm going to, let's go ahead and use my embossing buddy because it's winter time and the oils from my hand, everything's going to conspire. Let's use the embossing buddy to kind of take the moisture and static out of the card. so that the embossing powder will stick to only where we want it to. So let's go ahead and stamp on there. We'll bring in my tray to catch all my excess powder. And you can see that looks pretty fun right there as it is. A little flick off the top. I do have some tools here that I could use, but I don't need to brush off any excess powder. And I really have a nice enough handle, so I don't need to use the tweezers either. But I do want to funnel all this powder back into the jar. Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but this jar has a bluish label. Put it on Do Not Disturb. Hopefully I'm not freezing up. All right. Let's put this away. We're going to heat this now. So I'm going to bring my heat tool in. I'm going to let that warm up for just a second. I might as well go ahead and clean my card. It doesn't want to stand up because it's being stretched from the other side, the other wall. And I'm going to heat this just until I see it bright white and shiny. Once you see it turn, you are going to immediately move to another area. If you overheat, it will sink in and no longer be magical when you touch it. So look at that. That is a wow right there, I think. So now we're going to use the die. Figure out how it goes. It goes just like that. And we're going to run it through a mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, if you want, you can hold this down with a sticky or some washi tape. Let's see, what do I have handy? Nothing. So that's what I'm going to use, nothing. I'm going to bring in my little plates. Now, this is the white mini Stampin' Cut and Embossing machine. It folds up nice and compact. It's really little. You can see the size of my hand. And this will handle a lot of the dies and a couple of the embossing folders, but it's, it will handle the majority of dies. Makes it great for on the go. And right now, Stampin' Up! Has a starter kit special that for $129, you can get $175 worth of merchandise. And you can get one of these, plus free shipping, plus a month of Paper Pumpkin. It's like a $280 value for $129. It's a really great deal. I'll just run this through here. And there we go. There we have our wow. And so we'll bring this back in, and let's see how we're going to do this. We'll bring in a piece of basic white, thick basic white card base. I'm just going to put this on here. Let's see. Probably just angle this a little bit. Now, the sample in the catalog looked like they used a square. I'm not using a square. I'm using just this one. And I would just pop that up on with a dimensional. So let's go ahead and I'd probably use 2 dimensionals. Maybe even 2 minis would be okay. But that's what you'd have. And that's a pretty simple card. You could make it fancier. You could put some other stuff on it. But sometimes it's just nice to be simple. Now that's one color. But let's see what happens. It doesn't have this ray of light doesn't have to be that color. So let's go ahead. Let me bring back in my Stamparatus. I'm going to have to clean it again. One of the colors that I thought would look super duper. Hear the squeak? It's like my husband's sneakers walking through Walmart. All they do is squeak. All right, I thought Tahitian Tide would be a great color to work with. So let's go ahead and ink this up. Let's just see what it looks like. I don't know. I haven't played with it yet. We could put two colors in here too. All right, and so that looks like it's pretty good coverage. Let's go ahead and bring in a piece of paper, and I'm just going to go with the upper registration marks. That'll be good enough for me. Let's go ahead and see how this works. Just tacking this down a little bit. So I'm going to have to use a couple because I don't want it to move around. With one, it would just move around a little bit. So if I take off the backs, here's what you want to do. You don't want this to be stuck to the paper forever. So you're just going to remove a little bit of a tack by using your fingers. Now the problem with this could be that your stamp will feel the bumps and then not give you a great image. There are some marks in this stamp on purpose, so that might not be a problem. Let's see what we get. Want to make sure you give good pressure all the way around. And why do I use this? Because it is much easier on the hands than doing this the whole time, and it really is. So see, you got this now, and of course I'd have to trim this down, but let's see. Oh, look at that. I love black and this color blue together. It's so pretty. You could put a couple other circles in here of different colors if you wanted to, but I like that the way it is there. Yeah, that's pretty nice. But I'm gonna go ahead and see, this is kind of stuck, but I can remove it because I had taken some of the sticky out. It didn't make it very hard to do it all. So I'll clean this a little bit later. Let's just finish this card. And we'll put some adhesive of choice. Mine happens to be this at the moment. My other glues are packed for tomorrow. Let's just kitty corner that. Make sure I got some color peeking out of the sides here. All right. And then we'll put some adhesive on the black. And you don't need a thick line. I know some of you get kind of heavy with the green glue. The thinner, the better. And I'm going to try my best to ignore the black and just get it so that the edge of the raised piece is parallel to the edge of the white piece. Here we go. Let's put on some of my wow with the dimensionals. I don't know if I want a crooked or straight. We'll go with straight. You know what I mean, parallel to the edge. And then we need some embellishments. Let's see what we got for some embellishments. You know what? We have these 2021-2023 in color opals, and this yellowish looks nice. Now this is a pale papaya, but it looks really nice on this. My take your pick tool is packed. That thing is always packed when I want to use it. But if I don't pack it, then I'm going to forget it. So I don't want to do that. I'm just going to put a couple of these on my card in different places. Let's see. Let's go up here. And then let's go another one down here. So remember, we want to triangulate. So you just play with it until you see what you like. So there I've got my triangle, got my wow. Pretty simple card. You could do a lot of these bases at once, especially if you've got the Stamparatus. That's the other way I use my Stamparatus a lot when I am trying to mass produce, because I don't have to keep moving the stamp. The stamp stays on here and I just keep stamping. So there we have it. So here's an example of the Stamparatus when I was talking about mass producing. Let me take this plate off for a second and show you another example. I need another plate, which my Stamparatus comes with 2. I actually have 4 because I get really lazy sometimes. So what I could do here is take a couple stamps that work together. And we'll just put this in the corner. Some of you are having a conniption right now because I am taking a piece of paper and wasting the whole thing. I'm not. I'm going to use it. I will make the most of what I use here, I promise. And then I need my conversation bubbles. So we need to find them. Now, some of these bubbles are just outlines that you could put a word in. So that's what I'm going to do here. So I'd figure out where I wanted to have my bubble. All right, let's actually do my word first because I can see through my bubble. Let's do love ya. Okay, maybe I want my love ya to go right like that. So I'm going to close it. And then when I go to stamp it, what color are we going to stamp this in? Let's go with black. So I'm inking it up, making sure my corner is, my card is in the corner. I'm not sure why I'm not getting my magnets. Oh, I should get my magnet out because that slipped. Let's go ahead and get my magnet out. See, I am showing you all the reasons for using the tools that you're given. All right, let's try this again, shall we? I'm going to put this magnet here, and you can hear that snap. It's a pretty strong magnet. Now, if you have a pacemaker, magnets are not your friend, I believe, so heed that warning. So there I have my love ya. Now I want to put this right over the top. Let me get it positioned where I want it and close this other one. So when I pick it up, it's all ready to go. And let's go ahead and do this in Sweet Sorbet. And there we go. I've produced one. I could have done that without my Stamparatus, right? But suppose I'm making Valentines for my child's class. And I get another piece of paper out. I'm going to ink that stamp up again. It's a small stamp. I can probably do it just with my fingers, just as I just did. And then I want to do the word again. See, I haven't moved the stamps at all off these blocks, and it's going to be the same exact positioning this time as that time. So that's another beauty of the Stamparatus, is mass production. All right, well, I think that's what I have for you tonight. Let me go back and just kind of bring my card back in. So this is the WOW card. If you are planning on coming tomorrow and you have not RSVP'd, please let me know tonight so that you can get in on my list for the extra designer series paper that I'm giving away. If not, you're still going to get some when you come. You just won't get as much. But I hope to see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. in Sanford. Let me know if you're coming. I'll give you the directions. So let me turn you around here. Oh, look, 6 of you have joined in. Turn around. Let's see. I'm back. I dropped it. Oh, somebody give me a heart. Let me know you still love me, even though sometimes I can be a goofball. Thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't know. I lost 2 of you in that little episode, so sorry about that. Anyway, thanks for joining me tonight. I hope you have an absolutely great weekend. It's celebration. It's a time to celebrate, and I'm glad you're celebrating with me. Have a great night, everybody.